Okay, excellent. I like that. That's good. Okay, so we're just going to start off by watching this. We'll just see what happens. Hopefully, what I want us to concentrate on, I have not seen this yet, is I want you guys to just notice what the launch looks like, what the landing zone looks like, what the conditions are maybe during the flight. Pay attention what looks like your glide ratio, things like that. Let's just get an overview going on right here of what's happening, okay? Okay, so you can see the launch is a lava rock launch. They dumped a lot of rock and shaped it very nicely. Okay, and boom, you're instantly up into the sky. You should have...
He's going up right away.
Yes. You should expect that of a glass off site. Right there on the right side of the screen is LZ1. I'll point that out a little bit later.
Look, he's already like 200 feet over the launch.
1,500 feet over launch. I wonder how long it's taken him to get here. This is excellent.
Do you think he's going back and forth? Or is he
Yes, I really do. He could be figure eighting. Right now, I think launch is way over here. Oh no, right below him. Look, right below his right hand. Right here. Okay? LZ1 should be here.
There's a lot of trees.
No, it's the one that's right on the right of the screen, I think. But I was looking at
Where is he for launch again right now?
He's still going up.
he'll turn into it. We'll see LZ2 together.
LZ2 is the large one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't do that right now.
I think that's LZ1 there.
So let's notice this, how far away from the cliff line he is. Besides the fact that he's 1,500 feet up, he's not directly over the ridge, he's out in front. There's an LZ right there, right?
I think LZ2 is...
That's not it. No, it's over here. It's over here. There it is. LZ1, LZ2. Okay, 1, 2. Or no. 2. This is 2. Okay, look out how far away he is. Okay? This is not Fort Funston. This is not ridge soaring. It is not. It is very different, glass off and ridge soaring. Okay, so clearly pilots are stacking up to line in a certain direction. You've got your windsock over there somewhere, about there. The pilots are just coming in. Now, it might be different for you when you come in. Pay attention. It doesn't mean just because it's setting up correctly for one pilot, it's going to set up correctly for you. Yes, it's favorable. It's a good indicator. Pay attention to the trees on the backside of the LZ that are right here. These are about 150 feet tall. Look at the bare field on the other side. That is a hole. There are lots of trees on the other side, so now you got air rippling. Speed and power coming in. Good job, Soham. Lots of speed and power. He's positioned pretty high because you're going to notice that heel right there. That heel is about 150 feet tall. So he's really high. He didn't do so well on his approach here. He's really high. He's fighting to get it down, but look how his body's shrugged forward. His body's shrugged forward. He's not using the weight of his upper body to get himself down. He is effectively not using his upper body. Never finished his flare, so he got a lot of float forward with it. He let his glider stall out at this angle. So he went here, he froze it, he held it, putting his body weight on the glider, which caused him to continue going forward as he held it. He did not finish it upright, which would put on the brakes. Okay, however, speed and power in his landing. I don't want to see anything by them. That's fine. We're going to go back and look at Soham's stuff in a little bit. Okay, so that was excellent. Let's point out a few things here. The launch. It is a nice curved launch just like Fort Funston, okay? It is very, very nice. It is even more gentle of a tapered drop-off than Fort Funston is. Although it gets to being into cliff, you could tell that pretty much almost everyone's off the ground by here. They took I think 3 or 4 dump trucks, I think, of some or some volcanic rock or whatever it was. And they had it dumped up there, and then they shaped the launch however they wanted to. It was part of the new thing of stuff. So it was really awesome that they got to do this because it's very nice launch now. It probably looks a lot like Lake McClure, but a lot wider, a lot further to run down, but then it also gets very steep very quick. So it's better than Lake McClure. Imagine they took Lake McClure, dumped 2 piles of rock and gravel, then spread it out, and you could launch 2 gliders next to each other. Freaking awesome, right? So it's really good. It's really good. Okay. We saw where LZ1 was pretty quick. Right off the bat, do you see how LZ1 is right near underneath your landing zone? This is a no-brainer to be able to hit. You can make it here, no problem, guys. Okay?
What's the idea with the 2 landing zones?
In case you get sunk out, in case on your way to LZ2, you get drilled and you get a whole bunch of sinking air, in case things go catabatic really fast, there's just another landing zone, another landing option for you.
It's a 3-to-1 glide ratio for the launch.
There you go. So you did the math on this stuff?
I actually saw it, but then actually you could draw it up the line and
Perfect.
show you on Google.
So I wonder, because I didn't go to any of the sites when I threw this thing together. I didn't have enough time to go anywhere. I just started doing some stuff.
You went to the first one, 7-to-1 from launch to the second one. If you went
So it was
straight.
off a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
I had it as 6
Well, that's
6 to
what
1.
they said. I mean,
No, that's fine. That's fine. Because it's a mile away. It's a mile away, and you only have
1,000 feet.
basically 1,000 feet. In fact, I think you're shy of 1,000 feet.
Do you have a map of it that we can see from above?
Yes, we're going to get into all of that. Okay, so we're not going to do video replay stuff. I promise you, we will not be all video replay. I want you to notice that through here, look how it's a shelf. I want you guys to think of a vertical skateboard ramp, right? It's a quarter pipe. This is a quarter pipe. Okay?
Canyon, right?
What's that?
Like a canyon?
So it's a quarter pipe.
So like a canyon is going to, no, you are not flying in a canyon. It's a flat valley for a long distance. And then as you get to the valley floor below you, which is basically 1,000 feet, then it curves upwards and then it plateaus again behind you. I will show you that in Google Earth, I promise you. Okay?
And the landing zone is in that quarter pipe thing?
No, everything is on the plateau below you. Just imagine you're in a long plateau, and in the middle of this plateau, there's a step. And then you keep walking on this plateau. That step runs north to south for miles. You with me?
Cross that before getting to any landing zone.
So you're flying on that step. So to get to the landing zone, you're just going straight down. You're launching from the step to the landing zone. Questions are about to be answered for you. I just wanted to point out a few features right here. That's it. And then we're going to get into the other side of things. Your landing zone here, as you can see, runs from south to north. I want you to notice that these trees here, and this is where that hill is that we're all going to point out. Okay? These trees are anywhere between 100 to 150 feet tall. Okay?
Are there flags or any indicators of
There is one windsock about right hidden behind his thing right here. Typically, the air is coming through the slot this way or through the slot this way, from the south or from the north. Okay? All right, we're going to be done with this now. Okay. All right, so this place is a glass-off site. Glass-off, we'll cover in just a second, but glass-off basically means that there is sun setting on the far side of a valley. On that far side of the valley where a mountain is, here we go. We're flying this wall right here. We're flying that wall, and there's the wall over there, and that's 20 miles away from us. Who cares? It's a long way away. The sun is setting over there. And as the sun sets past a certain slope of this mountain, as the sun sets, all of a sudden it crests just enough to where shadow starts to hit this mountain. The second shadow hits this mountain, it starts to cool off. The rest of the valley is still getting sun, especially the far side where we're going to fly, which also happens to be loaded with volcanic black rock. Awesome. So it is
more energy.
soaking it in all day long. Ooh, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, right? Right? So now, the sun sets just enough, it starts casting shadows. Cold air starts to fall down this mountain and push across our valley. And as it does so, pushes all the hot air in this valley over and up, with the added bonus of the lava rocks. Oh my God. You just get this convection heat coming off of this, radiant heat coming off this, every heat principle you could possibly want, with the push of the cold air from the other side. That's why this is so consistent of a place. It's like, oh my God. Okay? It is known to be wonderful for hang-tos, which is why we're going there. Okay? It is one of those places that they tell us that you should probably take hang-tos there as fast as possible. They don't think Dunlap's a hang-2 site. They think it's a hang-3 site. But you guys are big bad motherfuckers. And you were trained for Dunlap. Okay? And that's level 3. That's 3 to a 4 site because you need to know how to work it right off the bat. It typically becomes, McClure becomes that way because of the fact that you have basically 500 feet to make a thermal happen. If you don't, you're on the ground. So if you want to say, hey, I'm going to go there and do whatever and just land safely in the lake bed, complete hang-2 site. You want to try and thermal that place and land the normal LZ, you're looking at a 3/4 skills. Congratulations, guys. Okay? That lake bed can downright be 3/4 skills too.
It was definitely 4 our last day there, huh?
Oh yeah, it got.
People pounding in.
Yeah, in the normal LZ. Okay, so west-facing launch. We're flying over here. The sun is setting in the west. That's what sets up this glass off. Okay? Notorious for evening launch times, guys. Really, if we're going to do sled rides, which it's good to do a sled ride. Understand, get the nervousness out, gives you an opportunity to walk the LZ, an opportunity to walk the launch. If we don't do a sled ride, we will walk the LZ. We will walk the launch.
Yes.
Okay? One of my favorite things to do, guys, and I would suggest if you can do this, get in the habit of doing this. Try and make it to a flight site. It just kind of gives you little race markers too. For me, I want to get somewhere fast, and I love getting to new flight sites or any flight site. I want to drink a beer on launch watching the sunset that night. So that way I put pressure to get out of the house. I got all my stuff packed the night before. But that way I could get up there and I could get up to launch and I could enjoy, I love sunsets, and I could enjoy the sunset. And then I could go down, I could hang out in the LZ, or I could sleep up there, whatever I want to do. But it just puts me in the right mood of things, is all that really is, okay? So that way you already get to walk things and understand, okay? Okay, family activities are so nearby. I don't know if you guys have heard of Bernie Falls. Have you guys heard of Bernie Falls? Yeah. No? Really? Yeah. You've flown there before? Yeah, from me talking about it before. You've been to Bernie Falls before?
No, it's really funny because my wife, as like when they was a kid, I mean, their family did all kinds of stuff. She was like, "Oh, Bernie Falls." It's like, okay, we'll go to Bernie Falls.
See, so it's a wonderful place to lure your family into with your evening activity of flying on the agenda.
Yeah, that's only 2 of us.
Well, that's not,
You guys, you're good.
See if I can talk my brother.
You're good. Right? So it's wonderful that way, okay? Because Bernie Falls is this beautiful waterfall that's set back in kind of this tiny little creek drop. It bleeds water all throughout the falls mountains, and then it feeds this lake. So you pay to get into the National Forest Park or whatever. You could hike down to see it, which is probably like less than a half-mile hike. Then you hike back up, or you could hike out of there or hike anywhere you want to, and then you are at the lake, and then you get to chill at the lake and play for the rest of the day. And now all of a sudden it's 2, 3 o'clock, and you're like, dude, let's go fly, man. Let's do this, right? And you get out of your lazy mode and you go, right? So it's just great, dude. And then you're right next to Lassen Peak, too. So I don't know if you guys have seen the Sulphur Pits. I think it's, I forget what it's called, but it's like, it's named after something like the Devil's Pits or something like that.
something, right?
Yeah. What is it? Yes, you're right. Absolutely correct. Bumpus is hell. Yes, Bumpus hell. Yes, exactly. Good one, dude. Good one. So we went there as kids, and it's like a 1.5 mile hike in. You get there, and like you've walked through this beautiful forest, and a beautiful meadow that turns into a little hillside hike, right, for just like a half mile. And then you drop down, and the earth is burnt and scorched, and it smells like shit. It's horrible, and it's bubbling sulfur pits everywhere. And seriously, you step off the normal path, you are in a molting hot lava pit. It's awesome. It's amazing. Kate would love this place. Bring her and her dad.
And then we can hike together.
Yeah,
It's a great place. So that way, in the morning, dude, my dad would love to go see that again. He hasn't seen it in a long time. I took some friends up there because we went, they wanted me to show them around Lassen Peak and the forest. So dude, if we start in the morning, let's say we wake up at 6 o'clock. We drive the 25, 30 minutes it's going to take us to get to Lassen Peak. We'll get to that spot. It's not in Lassen Peak. It's in a different section. We get there. We do our hike, which takes about 45 minutes. We hang out. We hike out 45 minutes. We're driving back, lunch. We're still there to fly for an evening flight. It's that great, dude. So that's why I say this is a wonderful, wonderful place to trick your family into taking you hang gliding.
No worries.
My brother.
Yeah, your brother.
Okay.
My loser brother who never wants to fly.
There you go. There we go. Here, I'll do it for you. Edit that out. Edit, edit.
So I also saw images of people flying. I watched quite a few videos of people flying. I thought I saw Shasta in the distance.
Shasta and Lassen are both. You can see them both.
Flying. I thought I saw it because
Yep.
Shasta has Shastina. You think it's pretty conspicuous. You can
Yep.
tell.
Yep, you can see it because I think it's,
60 miles away.
yeah, I was about to say 80, but yeah, you're right. Somewhere right around there.
Big.
Yep. Okay. Easy. I'm not going to stay on the direction things. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change a few things with this PowerPoint as we're going through it. Takeo, we could post this up in combo with the video for people.
Send me all the slides.
Yep. Okay, so from San Francisco, you're looking at 5 hours. It's just shy of it, 4 hours and like 57 minutes.
No, it's not even less than that, actually.
Is it from San Francisco?
You know, well, from Berkeley, it's like 4 hours
Well-
and it was like 10 minutes.
Okay. So you're looking at whatever you are from San Francisco minus your time from San Francisco. Simple enough, okay? Head straight up. You get up into the Vacaville area, hit 505, go north. 505 takes you to 5, get to Redding. Once you get in Redding, get ready to make a right-hand turn. There is a different direction that you could go beforehand. I do not suggest going that way because the land markers aren't as great. Okay? So I do suggest going this route because the route you're talking about is going to take you through Lassen National Forest. Much more twisty, much more turny. Scenic, yes, absolutely beautiful. I still do suggest that you go through the other way. I did the time marker for both. So there you see 281, 4 hours, 45 minutes. It's 10 miles longer the way I'm telling you to go, but it's the same exact time. So the other way is going to be slower and twistier and more full of tourists, period. So that's your big time, okay? So I do suggest Redding to right here, $299, okay? That's enough of that. Once you get into Boerne, it's very, very easy because there's a spot that there's like 2 stoplights in all of Boerne. You go to the second stoplight, you turn right. Now you're going to be heading to Hat Creek. This is what you're going to be seeing. You can see right there, you get into Hat Creek, you'll be driving past some stuff through here, and then all of a sudden there's a road that goes off to the right. So this is where you need to be paying attention. These might be the directions you need to start writing down because not writing down, but clearly for your vehicle ride. Once you get to here, which is basically the end, you'll see you'll come through an end really quick. You'll go through some hills, and you're going to be higher up on the hill here. You're probably going to lose cell phone reception when you get through here. The SETI site right here, Radio Observatory, search for extraterrestrials,
I like it.
right?
A whole bunch of radio telescopes.
A whole bunch of dishes, the whole shebang is here, is going to fuck up your radio or your antenna or your cell phone reception. Yep.
This is the dark line, the quarter pipe.
Bingo. This is what it looks like. In fact, you can't see it right now. We're going to see it in just a second. Uh-oh, how do I go back? Anyone remember? Okay, so you get it. There you are. You get up, and we're going to camp in LZ number 1 or 2, whatever it's called. Okay. All right, launch is at 4,600 MSL. Why is this important? Because air density altitude is going to start playing into the name of the game. You guys have all been taught to launch, keeping your body upright, and to run forever. If you guys start getting in the habit of laying forward, we are going to be having issues of blown launches and getting you out of hospitals. Stay upright and continue to run so you can control your hang glider. Especially important when we start talking about thermaling sights. And pulling in, getting extra speed and power, and getting away from the mountain before you do anything to go ahead and zip up. Stabilize, fly your glider is the most important part, not getting in your harness. Getting away from the hill and being safe is what's important. Okay? Your landing zone, 3,600. There we have it. We have 1,000 feet of altitude. You have a mile-long glide. Where we're going to stay, which you're welcome to stay anywhere. There's the state park at Burney Falls, which is only 20 minutes away of a drive, so it's super easy. In Burney is also a Safeway, which is why I'm saying go through Burney, familiarize yourself with the 2-stoplight town. There's also, that's where I got my DeLorean from. There's no facilities. You have no running water, no flushing toilets, not even a toilet whatsoever. You are bare in the woods. My style shit. This is my style. Yes, honey.
Show them a picture of my imagination.
There's a wild bear crap in the woods.
Yes, I'm going to give you a minute to do that in a second, okay? Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself because I will call on you to present in a matter of a minute. Prepare yourself. Okay. No camping in the ZLZ. However, you have Burney Falls, and then south of Burney Falls is some place, and I think it might be called Hat Creek Campground, which is in the shade of some trees. It's all on lawns. It's a nice place to camp.
It's the Burney Falls Hereford something campground.
Bingo.
And it's right on Doty Road, where you make that turn, you just continue down. It's $30. You can get showers and water and all that stuff if you want.
Very good.
Every extra person, $3. Every extra dog, $1.
Hereford Campground, did you say?
Something or another Hereford campground.
Good. So as I'm making these, I'm going to continue adding to them all the important information. We're going to have PowerPoint presentations accompanied with everything.
They recommended it was 6 miles from launch.
Awesome.
And so they were like, if you
And I heard there's an awesome place so you can hike from there right down Hat Creek. And Jeff Greenbaum, which I'll try and contact him if we want to do this, he's got this little hike that's only a mile hike, and there's a log that fell in a river onto a waterfall. And so now you could hike up this log up the waterfall with the waterfall being below you. So he's got pictures of him and all the students he goes up there with doing this stuff. So that's what I'm saying. This place is beautiful, guys. It's a wonderful place to go to. Wonderful place. You could fly for one day and just spend time having fun in the beauty all around it for the next couple days. You guys haven't been to Lassen Forest? Oh, dude, you'll fall in love with that place and never leave for the whole summer. It's that good, dude. There's so many different things to see.
Get your 10 hours up there, man.
Awesome, dude. It's awesome. You only fly once every 3 or 4 days, and you'll never miss it. It's just so good. Typical launch time of 5 o'clock, I've already said that. At this point in time, I'm going to hand things over to my other presenter, Estelle. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, who wanted to present something really, really quick? Do you need this chair to put that up on so you can explain it while you present? Okay, so how does this need to be oriented? Like this or like this? This way? Okay. Go ahead, explain to us what the presentation is. Explain. You're presenting. It's time for you to talk. Face your audience. Face your audience. Quickly, face your audience. Move on. What's going on?
Well, so this is the waterfall, and this is the lake coming down from the waterfall in there, and then there's rocks, and then
Keep explaining.
people are playing in that little area, and a girl did a cannon bomb, and she made a splash. And then this is the camping site, and that's their tent. And they made a fire, and they roast marshmallows. And then this is the sky, the beautiful sky, and the sunset and trees. And this is the other area where it lands. It goes down to the lake, and there's rocks.
So would you say that this is the fun that we could have in the area? Yes.
Oh, it's so appealing. We have to go.
We have to go for the marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
You can clearly see the marshmallow. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have any other questions for Estelle?
Yeah, so is it real rocky in the bottom part? Like, do we need to wear water shoes?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay.
Do you know, Estelle?
Well, it's usually nice to have water shoes.
Estelle, you got to answer the question that you're. So, the question presented is: we see that it's rocky there in the water. Would you suggest that we wear water shoes while we play in the water? For what particular reason?
So if like there's rocks down there, which I did add some little pebbles, it's so we don't scratch our feet.
Excellent.
Okay.
Are there any other cautions that we should have? What about the campfire? Is the campfire going to be safe for us to be around?
As long as we don't put our hands in it, or our feet, or our head.
Ah, good.
We should
Don't
not
put your head in
the
the
campfire.
Okay, right there.
Especially you with all that hair. No, it's a typical mistake, rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Don't put the head in the fire.
Is it safe to go over the waterfall?
Yeah.
This never go here and then close your eyes and go here, you'll probably die when you splash down.
Okay.
Because the pebbles.
Excellent job. Thank you very much for presenting with us, Estelle. Excellent.
Thanks, Estelle.
So that was our portion on family fun activities, right? Good tag team work there, co-presenter. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. All right. Okay, so now we understand is excellent for family activities. Thank you, Estelle. Oh, I'm going to pay so much for college. It sucks. I really am. There better be a scholarship in my future. Well, her future. Okay, here we go. Launch. All right, as you can see, we see the rim launch over here. Did the yellow show up okay?
Yes.
It did. Okay, good. I started playing around with colors, guys. So, did we say that this was, okay, yeah, this is launch. Okay. Actual altitude on Google Earth says that we are looking at 4591 for our mean sea level. You guys need to start getting, if you're not already in the mood of understanding what MSL, mean sea level, that is altitude based off of the, whenever it was recorded, 0 altitude of the ocean, okay? So air density altitude is going to take effect in things, right? Your launch, already normal things, all you know how to do. From launch to the LZ1, LZ1 is actually a little bit less. So LZ1 and 2. So I switched them all up. I didn't know.
Isn't 2 the one to the all the way up where right where the shadow of your hand is?
So it might be this one. Yeah,
I think
it's probably this
I
one.
think it's that guy. From what I was looking at, I'm not sure, but I think
It might be this one. Yep. And then that one way up there is LZ2. Then, okay, you're looking at a mile from to there. All right, or just shy of a mile, or just more of a mile, just a little bit more. In the middle is a hill, which we're going to get to. Okay. So my glide ratio is wrong. What is my glide ratio now to LZ1?
I don't know. What are our numbers? What are actual numbers?
You said it. What did you say it was off of your?
But you said 990 feet, 5,000, so it's 5 to 1. Actually, it's not that bad. 5,200. 91 feet, 5,200. You know, like 5.
These are actual numbers with an actual measurement based off of Google Earth just now. So you telling me that my glide ratio of 6 to 1 is correct?
No,
It was.
It's a little bit too far. It's more like a 5 and something to 1.
It's more of like a 5 to 1.
5.5 to 1 or something like that.
Okay.
If you want to be too particular.
5.5 to 1. Okay. I want this to be as accurate as possible. So you guys get this home. You guys do your own measurements and calculations. We're going to make a definitive guide for all future pilots. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay. So I'm going to start looking at other places and incorporating their information in. All right. Okay. So the glide to LZ1 is half of that, guys. Do you see that? It's glide to LZ1. It's less than a half mile. Or LZ1. I need to switch that up.
5.3 to 1 is the first one.
5.3?
Yeah. Yeah, the other one is
What is it?
Hold on, just 1 second. It's 1 over 0.44. Clear. 0.44. 2.27. So it's pretty easy to get to, the first one.
2,
2.3.
2.3 to 1.
Yeah, so.
Okay? So as we can see right there, you should be able to spit on LZ1 from launch. You should have no issues with that. Your Falcon 1 or your Falcon 4 glide ratio, they tell us is an 8 to 1.
Really?
Falcon 3, they said was about a 6 or a 7 or an 8. They still say an 8 a lot. I measured a lot of times in my Falcon 3, and honestly, even in Com Air's reading with my measurement of my instrument, now maybe it wasn't calibrated correctly for polar data, but I never got more than like a 6.3, 6.4. So
Kind of like 5 to 6, something like that.
I would say for your safety factor, maybe that's a pilot in full less drag gear. You see what I'm saying? Let's drop it by a little bit, and let's just know for a fact that somewhere around 6 to 5 should be your safety marker. With that being said, we are on the edge with number 2. You get that? You hit a lot of sync the whole way there. Pilots have done this. Halfway there, you better turn around and you better get yourself back to LZ number 1. Okay? It shouldn't be a huge issue, okay? All right, so we're there, we're here. All right, so our launch is a cliff launch, wire assist. You will have a wire assist. If we're ever next to each other, we will always be helping each other with wires. It doesn't mean you need to manhandle somebody's glider, and that does not mean that we take charge of the other pilot. What it means is we offer the assist at all times. The pilot is in charge. Go.
They've had a good class on it the last couple of weeks.
Yes, you guys have. Yes, the places that you guys have been taken to have not been soft flying places. Everyone, as you can see, wants to make sure you're safe. But you need to make sure that you guys understand that you are in charge of your hang glider. Maseo, I'm not so concerned about you as I am other female pilots. I have seen many female pilots who let themselves get pushed around on launch. You already know, and I'm sure you've had it your life as it is, where guys want to be overprotective. It is caring, and let's hope it comes out of a good nature, okay? But you understand what I'm talking about, okay? You're going to come up against that all the time. Now, I'm not worried about you because just knowing your nature and your demeanor, I would expect you to tell a man to fuck off at any point in time. I understand this.
Yeah.
Okay?
I have a control.
Exactly.
I have key for the gun case.
What'd you say?
I
She has
have
the keys to my gun case.
Oh, the keys to the gun case. Awesome. So awesome.
But you know, there's,
Is that another way of saying I have his balls in the freezer?
Oh, yeah.
Is that another?
but no, seriously,
I love it. I got the keys to the gun case.
McClure, Dunlap, and Ed Levin, we follow the same procedure, use the same terminology.
Exactly.
Just keep on doing it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. All of our previous graduates should be talking the same. This has been me since I've gotten into hang gliding. I've not changed. I've added certain things, I've had to take away certain things, but this attitude, this I am in control, this has been what's taught to every one of you, okay? That way we all know what to expect from others. You run into somebody, dude, Robert trained me 4 years ago. You two should match perfectly with each other, or they should at least understand, even if they've gotten bad habits or they've done other things, customized themselves at a pilot, which we all will, they should understand exactly where you are, okay? Okay, so, yeah, guys, look, this is important you understand this. It may look amazing to launch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Thermal sight, black rocks, cycles coming up, it just looks epic. The stories I've heard are just like McClure. Typically, pilots will only do that one time in their entire flying career. Not because they've killed themselves or hurt themselves, but because they've scared themselves so much that they would never choose to do that ever again. You're talking about black rock heating up on the side of a curved up hill that is now going to not just pump off thermals that get put together, but it's going to look like the pot of boiling water. Bubbles popping up. It's not going to happen until it gets to be 1,000, sometimes 2,000 feet over launch. I don't know what the altitude marker is for the day, high pressure, low pressure, density, yada, yada, yada. Whatever it may be, at some point in time, those things will start to get put together like normal thermals. Hot air wants to gather, doesn't it? Inversion layers will trap them. They will have to gather, then they have to punch through. Okay. My friends who have done this have said that they would never do it again. But we'll take you to launch. Okay? That was enough for me. I did that out at McClure one day. And in 20 minutes, I finally looked over my thing, and I thought that I'd been flying for about an hour and a half. It had been 20 minutes, and I was ready to land. I was physically exhausted, and I was in my peak condition of flying. Like, all I wanted to do was fly. All I did was fly. All I did, I had no child.
To go to the bathroom?
No, not in that amount of time, honey. I will never do it again, okay? I will never do it again.
That's McClure would like it.
That was McClure in July, launching at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, God.
So after that 20-minute mark, I radioed to the other 3 guys that were in the sky. We're all big old badasses. Me, Mike Jefferson, and Eric Boehm, who's Stan's son, right? We all went up. We wanted to have a blast, right? Anyways, at that 20-minute mark, we're all struggling to stay up, struggling to keep our glider straight. Wingtip blast. Jesus, man. Just exhausted through my arms. I radioed down to the guys, I am ready to land. I am going into land. I want nothing more to do with this. I try and start getting down. I hear from Jefferson, I hear, dude, I'm down too. This is garbage. I'm done with this, right? So we all start to try and go land. I crest through some zone at that point in time. It's like 600, 700, 800 feet above launch. That everything got mellow. And I was like, dude, I don't know what just happened, but it got mellow for me. Mike, almost the same altitude. Eric, almost the same altitude. Me too. Dude, I don't want to go back through that. We didn't want to go back down now. I'm going to hang out here as long as possible. So now, completely hands-off flight. The whole area was just lifty air. So we hung out for another about an hour and 20 minutes, just hoping that the ground would cool down. So anyways, when we do go land, the final 300 feet, wingtip boulders, dude, and just couldn't get down. So I called it the toilet bowl landing maneuver, where I just put my glider up on its side and corkscrewed inwards. Can I use the hang glider, honey? Flying along normally, put it up in, pulled it down, and corkscrewed down the final 300 feet into ground effect to come out. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but like I said, a big badass at the time. Anyways, you'll learn all your things and what you can do. Maneuvers like this aren't going to become a danger to anybody at any point in time, as long as you're doing it under correct circumstances with proper speed and energy and understanding what you need to bleed off. So, with that being said, launch times of somewhere around 5 p.m. are highly advisable.
How long does the blast off last? How long does the lift last?
You know, it really depends on what kind of heat you got, what kind of heat on the hill, what time of year it is, so when is the sun really setting. It doesn't have to be setting, understand that, okay? But you got a mountain like this. What's the shape difference of different mountains, right? So if you get a really sharpy, peaky mountain and the sun now gets here, everything's fine. You get mountains like this, it's still in the sun, you see? Your angle of your rays. Now we start getting shadow. So, you know, typically a glass off is going to last, you know, even when the sun does set, and even when your side gets to shadow, you're still having more cooled air push apart. Now the sun's setting, and people are still in the sky at Hat Creek, still flying around, the sun's setting. And now they're saying, oh crap, the LZ's getting shadowed so much I can't see it. Because the hot lava rocks are giving off all their hot heat. So the lift band's gotten very small, but it's above the lava area now, and you thought everything was legit, and you look over and you can't tell the difference between the landing zone and the tree line anymore. So it can vary, okay? Be on your toes, be smart. There's not really any major cause of concern here. What are we always doing as hang glider pilots? Paying attention to the conditions, okay? You should be just fine. You should be just fine.
We'll put up lights in the LZ for you.
Yeah, we'll get you down safely. Don't you worry. Okay, so this is clearly landing zone 2 now for my information. Let me just go through and change a few things so we could go through this like normal. You guys will get a sneak peek at what you're going to look at and see if some things are going to add to whatever. So this becomes LZ2 as well. Okay, where were we at? We just finished launch. We just finished this part of launch. We are here. Here we go. Okay. What did we say? I'm sorry. What did we say our glide ratio was?
If it's right, 5.3 to 1 on that one. And it's
And anything else in here that needs to be changed? No, we're good. Right, 1 mile glide, yes. Okay, so here we go. All right, here we are now sitting in our LZ, okay? LZ2, all right? Now, what we have here is we have that we're facing towards the east. There is our launch north-south run. This is the hill in the center. Let me just show you that real quick so you can understand what I talk about by this hill. Do you see right here? The land is hilled.
Bushes or trees in the ground?
Trees and small manzanita, probably no bigger than this. But trees that are standing up as high as 60, 80, 100, 150 feet.
These we're seeing right here?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
But that hill is kind of high, though.
That hill is 100 and, in fact, let's cover the hill. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Where is my launch hill talk? That should say hill on it. Okay. Wow, it doesn't say that it is 130 feet. It says it is 3,730 feet of altitude to the top of this hill. Remember, our LZ was 600 feet. So that hill is 150 foot tall. So 150 above ground level, AGL, above ground level. Okay, that's easy to remember if you understand what they stand for.
above ground level always refers to LZ.
Above ground level always refers to your LZ, for the most part. Because if I'm soaring on a cliff, let's say I'm soaring on that cliff, and I say I'm 600 feet. I'm 600 feet AGL right now. I'm 600 feet. I'm 600 feet above the launch. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I'm coming into land. Dude, I'm like 400 feet up right now. I'm talking about that. So it's typically in reference to somewhere where you are, where you've considered yourself fixed to the ground. Think of it that way. That's the best way for me to describe it, you know what I mean? As how me and my buddies would talk about it.
Yeah. So this is the primary landing zone.
Primary landing zone, yes.
So you go around the hill.
You-
Not over the top of it.
Yeah, because you are getting a draw, remember, from the west to the east. So if you line yourself up behind it, you're getting a sinkhole. So go around it as you're gliding there. Don't go straight line.
So we should go like this path right here, the clear kind of.
Yeah, over here to the left.
Yeah.
Or over there to the right. Now look, guys, don't get me wrong. I've seen quite a few here. You can see it here. See it?
Yeah.
You guys, it's like if you were to draw a straight line over the top, dude, people have landed there. We drive our truck really close up to the thing and we hike the glider down. It's not a big hill, and the problem is if you land on it, you can't relaunch from it. It's not steep enough. That's the only problem. Okay, but you're gonna land there safely, maybe some manzanita, everything's gonna be cool. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be an issue. Well, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be an issue, but yeah, you ain't gonna get no cactus, you know what I'm saying? And you're not trapped in the middle of nowhere. We're gonna get you, and you're right there. You can hear us laughing at you, you know? So it's gonna be good.
We go on the north side or the south side usually? We go around.
It depends on where you're coming from.
Okay.
So let's say you were soaring over here. Thank you,
So
honey.
just avoid
Good
being over it.
Yeah, don't be over it. Don't be behind it in your path to it.
Okay.
Okay? So if you're coming from over here, which would be the north section of launch, okay, and all of a sudden you're coming this way, you're going to come to the north of that hill. It should play itself out pretty easy for you. Okay, look at the landing zone really quick. Just look at that landing zone. God, it's beautiful, man. It's Ed-11, it's huge. It's got grass that's probably like 2 inches tall. Look, there's a little circle right there that they're saying to land. It's awesome. When we go walk that landing zone, I want you to walk in every direction to the other side. Tell me how many times you slammed your foot into a little mini boulder. There are black lava rocks this big everywhere in that LZ. This is the place that I've told you, if you've come in used to landing in on your belly, or you'll commit to it instead of trying to run it out, you will turn the landing zone into a cheese grater. You will grade yourself. I've seen pants shredded. Certain flight school, who doesn't really care, takes their students there. Oh, you're going to learn a lot out there. Oh my God, I've seen so many bloody legs through this area. Just nasty. Stay upright, run it out at all cost. You know what's even better? A no-stepper flare. Because then you don't got to run it out. Okay? Now, also, at the same time, this area of trees right here, when we go walk the LZ, you guys are going to see, in fact, this circle is, I believe, I can't believe it's coming up so well. There should be a windsock somewhere around here that's not showing up, okay? These rows of trees right here are where we'll camp behind them if you want to, because you won't be landing in the tree line. So you could camp right here. People will hang out right here in the shade, so you could watch everything all day long. The locals, for years upon years, have walked around and in this zone have picked up the boulders, thrown them in trailer beds, and brought them to other sections of the field and thrown them out and away. So you do have a lovely landing zone around this tree area that you'll see, that you won't find a rock bigger than an inch big. It's beautiful, but don't let that mislead you and misguide you into thinking that's what you're going to get everywhere. So that's why it's really important to always walk in LZ and understand what your dangers are in an LZ. Because you land back here, and boy, oh boy, it's a different story. And they're this big, but the grass is this tall.
Ooh,
You see what I'm saying?
they hide.
They're hidden.
Rabbits in the grass.
Yeah, they're totally hidden. Okay? So walk it and pay attention. Okay? That's my big thing. The setup is typically from this area over here, which would be your southwest of your hill, or your northwest. Guess where Soham came in?
Yeah.
I have come in straight over the west, over the top of this hill, and brought it in this way. That's fine. So what's the wind doing? Is the wind coming from your north? Land from the south. Land in and meet it. Set up in the southwest, bring yourself in. Wind's coming from the south? Great. Set up over in the northwest, bring it in, meet it. Wind's coming from the west. It's over trees. It's a little switchy. It may be a little nasty. Come in, put it on the ground on the other side of the hill, contour it in, land over here. It's fine.
I have a question here. So if the wind is coming from the west, no, from the south or from the north, wouldn't that change the shadow of the hill too? And you might not want to...
Okay, so this is where launch is. If it's coming in from the west, yeah, okay, but this is on the far side of the field. So if you're setting up high over here and over here on the field, at first you're in a northwest, and then you come in to the south. So I'm not saying use the hillside to cut in at an angle. I'm saying that this is a pre-stage area, or you're boxing the area, and then you come in this way. So yes, it will change. Don't let this be a factor ever. Right? Don't let it be a factor. You know the wind's coming in from an area, put it out of the way for where you're going to set up whatever you're going to do.
How do we know what kind of markers are there besides the one windsock?
Rippling grass, tree tops on the tops of the trees from the surrounding area will tell you things like that. Okay?
Plus, is it switchy, or is it more of a consistent thing? It seems like it's a big push across the valley. Something's going to be sort of consistent.
So depending on when you are landing in the day, if it's hotter, the LZ is protected by all these trees. With these thermic rocks in it now, it can trap air low level, protected by the trees around it, right? Just imagine this height. This is just a wonderful demonstration. Let's say the trees go up to this border all the way around the room. Your hang glider is this size right here. This is just a perfect size for this sort of thing. And you've got to land on the ground, right? So the wind up above the tree level is blowing consistently. And when it hits, let's say the wind's blowing from outside this door, when it crests this area, it's blowing this way, right? Once it crests the last tree to the LZ, it's going to trash in, isn't it? It's going to fall in to fill in this space that it's not at, right? So this area is also protected as the air a little higher just slips over the top. Okay? So the LZ itself can be thermic. So if you're doing anything over the trees, which we're going to get to in a second, added speed and power over the trees. You cross a zone and a dimension, added speed and power as you're doing those things. Did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Takeo.
Oh, I was just going to say, birds always stand into the wind.
There you go. What other indicators do you use? There you go. What other indicators do you use when you're out and about? Birds stand beak into the wind for balance.
Typically, when their thermal's kicking off, they'll pick up dust off the ground, and that will tell you what the wind direction is.
I don't know if there'll be someone smoking in the LZ. If there's that, there could be flags up anywhere. Even flags in other parts of the valley can help add to things.
If you
What
want
else?
to stand on top of a hill like you did at London the other day and just look down at the LZ, and you can see the flags, or you'll be able to tell which way.
It's pretty easy.
We'll add up a few streamers of our own around places, okay? But at a certain point, remember, just like in Dunlap, I said you have to ignore these other ones because this one is the one that's telling truth. Sometimes they're lying. I've landed this LZ, it's switching back and forth 180 degrees. What did I do? I split the difference. I did that with the paraglider and an instructor who I shall remain nameless, and we all landed. The luck of the draw was the paraglider and the other guy didn't have the best landings. The wind switched too much on them. It caused a lot of issues. Me, I fell from about 300 feet in the sky. Wind gradient took effect, and I was falling with lots of speed and power, which we're going to get to. I got speed and power, rounded out, and was just zipping over the ground at like 60 miles per hour, and I was the one who walked away from the landings without any broken down tubes. But it's just going to be a luck of draw with a cross. That was a extreme situation. Okay, extreme. It was in the evening, everything should have been fine, glass off, shut off, but the LZ was still switching. Had there probably been a more dominant wind situation up top, could have been better. All right. Okay. LZ2, surrounded by this 150 feet tall trees, like I just described right here. Okay. They're set back a ways to where, first off, right now we're looking launches over here, so we're looking that way towards the west. Okay. But what you can't see is the height of these trees right here, guys. This is LZ2, but behind it is another path that if you need to land, no problem, go over there and land. It's huge. But in between, see this tree line here? You guys, those are 150 feet tall. Yeah, you got to make sure you're over them. So a typical approach pattern here, let's see if I could bring this back for a second. Okay, here it is. Here it is over here. See this strip of trees, guys? So I've come in here before, been over here at 800 feet. Over the top of this mountain, fine. So I went on a big aircraft approach, and this was my plan, to box it and box it and box it, you see, until I came in, and I could be over here and decide if I wanted to come in this way or if I wanted to come in this way. Make sense? Okay. Position myself in the west so I could come in from the northwest or I could come in from the southwest. I wound up over here, 800 feet over the tops of these trees. Very cool, because there's 2 separations of ground there. I'm at 800 feet. I'm flying at trim. Everything's fine. Shouldn't have any issues. I make it back over to this section of the field, then back over the mountaintop here, the hill, and I'm estimating my altitude at that time was about 350 feet. I was going to go back here and come in and land. I think I dropped into a zone of about 300 feet, so it's now twice the altitude of the trees, when maybe about 250 feet, okay? So I'm estimating, all right? When all of a sudden, the air dropped out from underneath me, okay? In retrospect, looking at things, I think what happened is don't forget that the wind gradients are 3-dimensional. Mechanical turbulence and wind gradient can take into effect on each other. So this area of trees that I had just flown over at 800 feet, on this side of the hill, I had crossed the zone of where their wind gradient was taking effect. So on this side of the field, I think I felt their wind gradient, and it dropped out. And I was lucky enough to have planned my approach in this three-dimensional space, always thinking at any point in time I could get out. 800 feet, I shouldn't have had a problem. But by the time I was over here, I was at 600. I was at 5. Or at 4. I was at 3. Maybe I had the wind gradient happening from this hill, 100 feet, 150 feet over the hill, from the trees that were high, pouring into the LZ, 250 feet, causing air to trash in, causing air to slow down. There's a lot of things that could take effect here. From right here, at about 250 to 300 feet, I put my glider into a corkscrewing dive. Okay? So always plan. That's why figure 8 works out really well. Aircraft higher, figure 8 in a certain area, you want to maintain a zone of safety. I had boxed the area, 800 feet, sank lower, lower, lower. Now I am over the hill up there, and all of a sudden it dropped out. Put my glider into a dive, turn, 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 speed and power. Did get speed and power, rounded out, and zipped across the runway to land where I should have normally landed. Okay? So the reason I'm telling you this, and we got serious for a moment there, is do not ever, this is the place that taught me, never underestimate wind gradients. Never, ever underestimate them. And always in your approach planning, always think of mechanical turbulence and how can you put it as far away from you as possible. But there is somewhere, some book that I read, that mechanical turbulence can exist up to 10 times its horizontal length of its vertical length. So if something extends up 100 feet, imagine that something could hit it and blow it 10 times its length. That's 1,000 feet of its 100 foot tall. Those trees are 150. That will blow all the way across the LZ. And I think that that's what happened to me that day. Okay? So just be ready to pull in. Right? Be ready to pull in. No issues. Right? It's the things that I've completely prepared you guys for. This is what your training is meant for. Remember,
it's like the equivalent of the kind of turbulence you get over the pond and the crosswinds at Dunlap.
the pond and crosswinds at Dunlap. See, I typically don't fly around that area because it's not a good area to fly. It's not cleaner air. If it's bubbly and turbulent, why would I want to place a pond and trees between me and my landing zone?
Yeah.
None of that even factors into my flying.
When you're going down, you can, like, even if you're really pulling it, you can feel some of that coming across.
So that could be bubbly thermally stuff if you're up higher to where you really don't think the pond's playing into a factor with it. I think somehow, I think a lot of times maybe those trees in the pond create a little upslope in that area because air's being drawn across Dunlap Valley and it's very wide open through there. You know what I'm saying? So it's heating in the valley, then it comes over here and starts to pump up, which is why you can sustain in that area, but we should never be low in that zone. So I think that's more of the bubbly turbulence coming up more than anything.
But if we come in with the same power we do at Dunlap, should be all right here?
Yeah, just make sure you're positioned in the correct area, like I said, north or south, northwest, northwest, by about that 400 feet position. If you just see everybody coming in, perfect aircraft approaches, we're not seeing any issues whatsoever, line yourself up in your aircraft approach pattern, distance away from others. Remember, if you and another pilot are having to come in at the same exact time, you and that pilot should be landing sideways of each other. Okay? You should be giving each other plenty of space. It could happen here because offset each other. Okay? All right? If one looks a little bit lower than the other, right? Hopefully you've both been paying attention. Eye contact is a huge thing of what other people, you know, that's our indicator in the sky that I'm aware of where you are and let's make sure this is happening correctly. Lower pilot has the right of way, but at the same time, if you're the lower pilot getting ready to land, don't land in the middle of the LZ. Try and scoot to the side of it just a little. I'm not saying to put yourself in danger.
But help somebody else out.
Okay? But think about it. If ideally you need to be landing center side, then land center side right so other pilot can land center side left. Okay? Should be fine. All right? If the LZ is just blowing down the chute from the south, everything's gorgeous, then one of you land further over to the tree line, one of you land further over to the other side. But pick a spot and land your spot, okay?
Pretty wide. It's like, it looks like almost 100 yards wide.
It's pretty big, dude.
Yeah.
100 yards wide? Yeah, that's putting it close to about the 300 foot. Yeah, it's definitely a football field length wide. It's like 10 football fields next to each other. With lengthwise, line them all up, 10 of them.
Yes.
It's
It's pretty good.
Business Bank and Lights, the top rating.
yeah, no issues. Okay, so yeah, it's good. So I beat the wind gradient up to death enough. See, it could extend up to 250 foot range. Okay, the hill, we've covered that plenty. Okay, don't be behind it. There's a sinkhole. Go around it. LZ number 1. Okay, 350 foot. So it's actually a hair higher than what LZ number 2 is. Sure, fine, no issues. It is bordered all the way around by high trees. Look here, you can see it. Just look at the area around you. Look at the shadow being cast here. Okay, so this is a morning time photo. Clearly a morning time photo. Okay, you would have to, it's hard to kind of do this right now. No pointers or anything. Okay, you would need to set yourself up. This LZ, you've got 2 ways to do this. Let me just see if I can do it. Pretend you're in this. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, let's pretend you've come in, but let's pretend you're fixed to the ground right here, but you're high in the sky from that fixed point. You're going to bring yourself, here's your ground position, here's your altitude high. Okay, 200, 300 feet. Look how I'm over or just inside this tree line. You have to bring yourself in as you're coming down lower. Then you're going to have to turn. This is your ground position. And you're going to have to come in and land the LZ. Did you see how that worked? This was your altitude. This was your ground positioning. Let's do that again. Here's your altitude. Watch how they get closer and closer. You're carrying extra speed and power. You're bringing it in. You're probably 50 feet as you're initiating this turn. You're coming out of it. It's kind of like Dunlap if you came over the training hills and you came around it. And now you're coming out. You're riding out your extra speed and power. You two get your altitude and ground position. That would now be, let's say we're still going up this way towards the north. Yeah, because you'll see if you try and bring it around too much and come into the west, there's no point. You're surrounded by trees everywhere. You're in a hole here, which is why you need to carry extra speed and power. You're in a hole. Make sense? If you're coming the other way, now it's hard for me to do, but let's say you're way high in the sky this way, and your ground track is here. You're coming in extra speed and power, you're looping it around this way, you're bleeding off your altitude, you land. Makes sense, everybody? It will make more sense when we are there and we are walking it. You'll be like, oh, wow, I am landing inside my tree line. With me? Your tree line's there. You see? What did we say the Falcon's turn radius is? We're not sure, but we think it's about 80, 90 feet. You're probably 200 feet wide.
Yeah, you make sure.
Yeah.
Put it this way, it's not the toughest landing you'll ever face.
No, and it's not bad. So not need to scare you, just understand that you're going to need to make a turn and understand you do not fly slow around obstacles. It's following into the same theme of stuff here. That's why I want to make sure we hit home on with that one, okay? This will be your first taste of a restricted landing field. Extra speed and power, boxing in a zone, come in and land it. Ideally, if we can do that first thing in the morning, it would be a great experience for all of you to land, okay? Excellent. Like I said, should be no issues whatsoever. You guys should be fine. Aircraft approach is a must here. So you're carrying your best glide speed and power from way up high, and it's fine, okay? When you got best glide plus a little bit extra, you just contour this whole little area, come in and land. You'll have plenty of time to bleed the whole thing off. But you're not going to be into a situation where you say, okay, I'm going to save some altitude in reserve. No. What is altitude in reserve? it's also energy retained, isn't it? So fly along with energy retained. You've got your altitude in reserve. Make the maneuvers that you need. You're going to have to make at least 2 or 3 turn points, aren't you? So now you're looking at best glide plus more, because every time you turn, you're going to lose speed and power. Your altitude reserve. So therefore, your best glide plus no wind situation, I want best glide, plus I want 3 or 4 extra bars of power to make each one of those turns and maneuvers. So I'm going to probably start this whole thing at a power level 7. Yep, with it. Pumping. Pumping. Make the turn, make the turn, make the turn. Every time you're bleeding off power, you're bleeding off power, you're bleeding off power. Next thing you know, you come out of your final turn and you've only got best glide. Right? Now you're into ground effect, rounding out, bleeding off best glide. Okay? Not as difficult as it sounds. Have I needed to land there? No. Have I ever wanted to land there? No.
Or are you going to make us land there? Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
we have a problem, because I'm not sure we're all good. I have a problem driving up there on Friday night.
Well, if you don't need to land here, we're not going to land here. Okay? It'd be great if you guys can make it up there before. It'd be really, really great. It helps you acclimate to altitude, things like that. You wake up in the morning, you're fresh. But if you need to come up in the morning, I understand. However, me and my family are going to be swimming out at Bernie Falls or in some lake somewhere. So then you're going to have to show up, excuse me. That was disgusting in the microphone. I'm sure it sounds wonderful.
So we'll meet you at Bernie Falls at noon.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Meet us at Bernie Falls at noon. We'll be down by the lake section, I'm sure, at that point in time swimming. I don't know if I want to really hike down to the waterfall. My dad will want to, but she's going to want to play in the water. Let's just play in the water. Dude, I'll take a short Racer 5. Or no.
Have the Racer 5.
Hella hoppy?
Yeah, forget the hobby.
Yeah. Just for the hell of it.
Wait, that was the Racer 5 right there?
No, they don't have any, honey. How does this sound on microphone? Should I make sure that we do all of our recordings like this from now on the microphone? La 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 la.
Daddy, I have 2 magic tricks, but I wanted to do it when the tour is here.
Okay, but that's going to happen later. We're getting to the close of everything right now, so let us finish, please. I'm sorry, honey. Thank you. It is the big closing thing. In fact, I think we've already talked about this. We'll just wait for a second. Let's wait for our tour to get back, okay? Anybody else need to take a break? Anybody else? Estelle, if you want to, go ahead and show everyone your magic trick right now. But we're going to have to move when our tour comes back in, okay? I'll just go hit the head too. I'm not taking the microphone to the bathroom with me.
Yeah.
I know you kinky Japanese. Okay, so here we go. Glass off. I've already pretty much covered this, guys. All right, it's the setting sun cooling the air on the other side, so the cold air drops into the valley. The valley now pushes the cold air across the valley, pushing the warm air across the valley. Estelle, shh, we got to finish this up, kiddo. Okay, this is important. Our tour needs to hear this. Thank you, though. Can you show them later? Estelle, thank you so much. Remember what we chatted about? You got the sun setting on that side of the mountain. Cold air now hitting that side of the valley. Cold air falling down in our valley. Hot air pushing across an incline on the other side, typically due to mountains or some shelf, plus the hot rocks, now sucking that area up. So, again, not to be confused with a Fort Funston air coming in or ridge soaring, which is the push or draw of air hitting a cliff-like feature and bouncing over it, creating a zone of lift. We're not talking about a tiny zone of lift. We are talking about a wide 1, 2, 3 mile wide area and a band that's super far. Now, I don't know what it's going to be for the day's conditions, okay? I've been out there before, and it was 1.5 miles wide. I flew over the LZ 3 times, went back over to launch 3 times. It didn't matter. I was in the gentle 400 feet per minute up, nice and calm, super, super gentle, with tiny little thermals in it to where it wasn't 400 feet per minute up, but it was 450. And of course, as it got higher, it would cool off and be in a neutral zone. So 600 feet, 800 feet above launch, there was all of us pilots hanging out. You see? Because now it was only lifting at 200 feet per minute, and there was 9 of us pilots up there going, this is awesome, yeah! Woo! You take your hands off, you're super chill, you relax, you enjoy the whole thing. That's what a glass off is. You might find a thermal hotspot in it. If you want to try and circle it, great. But remember, your thermaling and your circling to try and utilize it may increase too much sink rate. So typically what you wind up finding in a glass off situation like this is whose glider has the best sink rate is typically the person that's at the top. So you may see high performance gliders that have a sink rate of 175, 160. That are higher than a Falcon's 200, 190. You see what I'm saying? Then the spectrums of gliders in between. All right? So don't think, God, what did they do? You know, also things like drag are going to play a key role on your glider. Okay? Right? What's that? I like it. Totally. Take a bath in a Crisco before you go. John comes out to launch with a vat of Crisco. He's like, gentlemen, lather me up.
No, you know what again?
I'm reducing friction.
Swimsuits those guys have with all the little ripples on it, right?
It's all about the harness. That's why those guys have race harnesses.
Yeah.
That's right. Air disruptors all over the little swimsuits. Or water disruptors. Okay, like I said, conditions are typically considered excellent for a hang too. Because why? It puts you in a situation very wide. Not a lot of pilots have to be so close to you to where you can float and fly and relax. Learn to focus on your glider. Appreciate how the world's moving around you. This is commonly, Berkeley takes their students up there, and this is typically where they take them from Ed Levin, and their first flight may be an hour and a half long. You get it?
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Rubbers in the hang 3, baby.
So, in this band of lift, we're still close.
Not a band of lift. That's the point I was trying to draw. A band of lift comes from ridge soaring. You are not ridge soaring.
Okay.
You are in a glass off.
But it's still like a big area.
So it's a huge area.
Is it also behind the ridge?
No. Cautions. Never get behind the ridge.
Oops.
That's so awesome you asked that right then and there. I wish I had a blood drippy font. Okay? I can't believe it. We planned that for the video. We planned that for you.
Land at the launch
Top
and
line.
start over.
landing?
Yeah,
You
you really want
can't-
to try top landing at this point?
So, so I think that it is top landable there, although the problem is it's sloped downwards toward launch to where you wouldn't want to top land. Had it had flat terrain features, you could. But it's not recommended there. Not recommended. Okay? And definitely not for you guys. I'm not going to do it. Okay? It can be crowded. So at the beginning, we get up there, everything's cool, the lift band's a little bit wide, go out, have fun, explore, play, get comfortable. Say again?
It's not a band.
I'm sorry. The lift zone, thank you very much. Yes, very, very good, because I need to make sure I'm correct on things. The lift zone that you'll be flying in could be quite wide. I want you to go out and experiment with it. First off, you launch, get out there, start floating around. See how much altitude you can get. Go up and down the cliff line, venture out a little bit, keep referencing off the cliff how high you're getting on it in relationship to it, okay? Have fun, get as much altitude as possible. From there, work on your triangulation. How high, how low am I? Can I tell if I'm rising and sinking? Not only off the cliff, off of terrain features in the distance. I need you to work on your triangulation. Next, I want you to explore the width of the lift zone. How far out can I go? A rookie assessment, because a lot of pilots from the Bay Area think Fort Funston, is that they think that they have to stay in close to the lift or close to the hillside. Very wrong. Like I said, I have flown to the LZ and back multiple times my first flight there. So if I can fly over the LZ and not lose a lick of altitude, why would I want to be near the cliffside where there was 12 other pilots hanging out? Okay? What you will notice is a shrinking of your lift zone, eventually becoming a lift band, generated by the rocks giving off your last minute heat.
What's the difference between a band and a zone?
So I consider a lift band is the air hitting the rock feature because of pressure hitting it, slowing down in the beach area. It slows down, boom, it compresses, so the air has to accelerate around.
So it's
Now up here, it can also flow. So now it compresses, and now here, where you have your tabletop happening, it can now slip and accelerate. So in this zone, depending on how much pressure you come having in, creates your lift band. So your lift band will disappear at about right here. So there's your cliff. It'll disappear about right here. Notice your sharp angle. You cross this zone in your low, it is turbulating and rough and beat up. Up higher, it's also doing the same thing. So you never get behind your ridge line. So this is a lift band. It exists in a pie shape here. Okay, see that? It's actually a little bit more than 90 degrees, and it's a little bit less than your 90-degree mark here. See that? Okay? Very important you understand that. In our situation, you have a lift zone created by all this pushing air. Yes, the same sort of similar terrain features are setting it up, but it could be a mountain at Dunlap where they don't call it a glass off. At Dunlap, they call it the Wonder Winds because it's not really anything that's like, I mean, yeah, the Dunlap Mountains form this long ridge and the air pushes across the valley and lifts it up, and then all of a sudden you can travel from this mountain all the way across the valley, but that's the whole valley floor lifting off at the same time. So it's a little different. So I understand why they call it Wonder Winds. Oh, thank you for doing that.
Altitude do we need to watch out for as we're
Launch altitude. Remember, we've already talked about. So know when to leave for launch. Let's just cover these really quick and find out what else you get into. I'm not going to go on any side tangents really quick. Let's cover these right quick and see it. Let's make sure. It can be crowded. It's typically crowded at the point where the lift is starting to decrease and your zone is getting smaller. As your zone is now getting smaller, more pilots are getting condensed closer and closer to the ridge line. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm above the landing zone. Why don't I circle around this thing for the next 25 minutes while it turns off, and I'll hang out here. That's just fine. But then people start to compress on the hillside thinking, I want to stay up longer and longer and longer. Now you're with a bunch of pilots, and now you're with a whole bunch of pilots who need to land at that point in time too. So know what you like to fly in, pick and choose your times, okay? Remember, we're not competing with anybody. We have our own personal competition markers that we have. Yes, we do, okay? You're competing with Mother Nature, right? Bad golfers compete with each other. Good golfers compete with the course. Okay? Right? So it's the same thing. Compete with what Mother Nature gave you that day. You're not competing with psi. People say, how high did you get? Hopefully they're saying it because they're trying to find out what Mother Nature's was able to give somebody of that day. Not going, oh, you hit 6,500? I only hit 50 or 63. I suck. I don't suck in comparison to psi. He's awesome. I know he's awesome. Okay? I'll never be able to compete with psi. But if I try and compete with psi, I'm in for a lifetime of disappointment. Okay? I already know it off of the bat. The guy could flare way too good, has a great sense of airspeed. Okay, so you get it. So be careful with the crowded anywhere. Okay? Pick and choose what you want to fly in. Next, know your right-of-way rules. I will get to it. I want to show them to you guys. They are on my website. I want you to download them. I want you to have them in your hand. I want them to be up there because not only do I want you guys to read them and know them, when somebody else challenges you on a right-of-way rule, I want you to be able to pull it out, or I want it to be sitting in a chair that's not even yours, and I want you to, you know what, that's interesting because I thought it was this. Let's find out. Because these right-of-way rules have been written by Jeff Greenbaum in 1981. And you could throw that shit in their face. Okay? Okay?
Yeah, but there's also a left-right component there.
Exactly.
There's also a ridge component.
Exactly.
Person on the right has right away?
Pass on the right.
Yeah, but what happens if you're converging on a point? That's a test. That's a question of the test.
We will go over those briefly, and I want you to know where to find them. Know when to leave for launch. Here's the answer to your question a second ago. Yeah, you could go out there if you want to, Stell. Push it and go on out there and play. So, know when to leave for launch. We already know that launch to the LZ number 2 has a glide ratio. Has a glide ratio of, what did we say, 5.3, 5.5?
Change that to know when to leave for the LZ.
Yeah, know when to leave for launch. That's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Lunch. Before lunch.
Know when to leave for lunch.
Yes, no one.
Flying with food in my stomach, it makes me sleepy.
Okay, so what did we say? LZ2 was 5.3 to 1 glide ratio. Okay? So we should then be able to assume by that our Falcon has a glide ratio of, we're going to say 6 to 1. We're going to say 6 to 1, building in a safety factor. So that means if you are flying by and all of a sudden you look and you're level with launch, you need to make a turn immediately and go to the landing zone and make sure you're flying at trim. Yeah. Remember, if you think you're sinking at normally fast, now move. Don't be behind the hill. So right off the bat, you leave from launch and you literally looked at launch. If you look at the LZ, there's a hill in your way. You guys are my hill. So I can't go straight to the LZ. So automatically, you know you're going to be in sync. This is going to be bad hill. I need to start fading towards the northwest or the southwest. Neither one of them is a bad idea, but if you can see the windsock in the LZ and you can see it's coming from the north, then let's go to the south. Okay? All right, you're going to be fine regardless. Make sure, remember this, guys. I can make these things sound really scary, and it's new. Nothing here is supposed to be scary. It's it's in the moment thinking and blah 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 blah. Everything's fine. Hang gliding is scary in general, right? So whatever. Knock if you need in, okay? You have a new home, honey. Okay, so we're legit with that. Okay. Caution of the terrain features. Caution of terrain features, caution of other pilots. You guys are new pilots. You guys are going to want to make sure that you have appropriate distances between each other to make appropriate maneuvers. If you don't like it, get away, find another little space of yourself. When I talk about terrain features, what I'm actually really trying to talk about, I want to show you guys this. Okay, terrain features. I'm going to try and make this as specific as I can real quick for you guys. Terrain features. Your terrain features, of course. You got that? Thank you very much. Okay, this is your launch. I didn't mean to. Okay, terrain features. When you guys look at Hat Creek Rim as it is in general, which we will get to in a second, the launch is there and then it comes out like this. It goes for a long way. I should have totally repositioned this in a different manner. Let's do it right now, because the rim extends interestingly. Okay, so first off, you have a little bowl feature here, then a big bowl feature like this, and it steps out and it goes out this way, and then there's another drop back. Your launch is right here. That's kind of the road in the setup area. The road comes up here. Then you have another terrain feature that drops back with another ridge. You see this? And this ridge peters out here. I would highly warn anybody, I have been afraid to do it, even on my days of being high, of going to the back ridge. Okay? Because if you go to that back ridge and it starts to shut down, guess where you're trapped?
If it's a ridge,
With how many landing options?
not many.
Then you know, right?
It's all forest and trees, guys.
Oh, God.
All. You're going to be trying to land on a road that was not big enough to support your entire wing. Okay?
Where's the secondary landing zone? Is that over to the left here?
In this situation, primary is here, secondary is way out here. We are not to scale. Okay? We are not to scale. Okay? just know that your primary would be here. I'm sorry, your primary here, your backup's there.
Ridge that's behind the LZ. Or behind.
This is a ridge that is behind launch, and I'll show you guys that in a second. So when we talk about terrain features and being cautious of your terrain features, what I'm talking about is we should have the wind blowing in from the west, which means that it hits our ridge line and everything becomes lift. Absolutely everything becomes lift. Okay? Ignore. If the wind, actually we could leave that like this. This is west wind. Okay? West wind, everything's golden. You see? It hits everything beautiful. Let's work with a southwest wind. Wind coming in at this angle. If wind comes at this angle, it causes a shadow here in this terrain feature, and here in this terrain feature. Does that make sense?
So your launch is actually a little shadow.
Your launch would actually be shadowed in this exact situation. Very good. Okay? So you could still probably launch in extremely light, calm air, then get out a little bit, and then the lift will start to happen. But if it's coming in at an angle, it's not going to be a very wide lift zone, is it? It's now going to start hitting terrain features. It's going to be different. Likewise, the same thing could happen if it's now coming in from the northwest. If you're coming in from the northwest, now you start getting a shadow in this area, right? This is fine. This is fine. This creates a shadow. This creates a shadow. So if you're in close on a ridge, you need to be very, bless you, conscious of these things. This is exactly the same as Fort Funston. So when next time you're out at Fort Funston, stand as close as you can on launch and look down launch. How many times does the ridge disappear?
And those create rotors and shadows depending on whether you're northy or southy, and you have to be aware of those because you can fly into those zones. If you don't got a little bit extra speed, it might get nasty and ugly.
You could get sucked right into it. You could get pushed into it, or you could just get straight rotored into it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Drop a wing, it gets pretty nasty.
Okay. So we understand terrain features now. Okay. So it's best. That's exactly why I wanted to get this chalkboard. That was like, I gotta have a chalkboard to show people this. You gotta understand this. Okay, guys. So if you understand them, everything should be fine because you can stay away from them at all points in time. These terrain features aren't just with ridge soaring, but they're also with Dunlap's Mountains, McClure's Mountains. Where's the wind coming from? When we launched at McClure, did you guys notice the windsock was on the south point? If the south point windsock points towards you, everything is being trashed with rotors into your landing zone, which is why no one was taking it. From the north, the terrain features face out. So then, at McClure, you have a safer launching zone of this right here. Everything beyond that becomes an extreme level of caution. Okay? All right, give me one split second. I need you to turn it down just a notch, okay? You're kind of top notch, okay? Calm it down. You could go over there and play too. Okay. That's it for that one. What's in our next one? We don't have anything. I don't have a thank you for coming. Please fill out an evaluation form and don't forget to tip your waiters. Okay, so we are good with that. The last thing I wanted to show you guys was a little bit of Google Earth movement of the terrain features, because it does help to see Google Earth as it actually moves around, because it makes sense when you start to see the 3D, right?
You can even put a flight simulator mode and actually fly.
Yeah, I gotta, and there are, I do have a program. I don't have any of my Hat Creek flights up, but you can actually have it overlay onto Google Earth. So here we are in the LZ right now. Okay, look, there's that circular feature. This is what I said was the trees that people love to sit under. This is where I'll be camping. So come say hi. All right, so let's turn around and let's look at the LZ. Okay, Why'd you do that? P for Paige. If you guys don't know, Paige was an awesome dude who lived up there. He retired at the young age of 40. And after retiring at the age of 40, bought a property really close to Hat Creek and was there to drive you. What the hell is going on? Was there to drive you every single day up the mountain and would meet you in the LZ with a J and meet you with exit ground level view. Why did you get on ground level view? Thank you very much. And fresh brewed home beer. So he was an amazing dude. We would go up there as instructors, and every year he was trying to raise any kind of money for himself to live, selling t-shirts or whatever, and also for the local fly guys and the fly site to basically support the fly site, because he was the one who did it all, like Greg. And he would give us free instructors free t-shirts because he said, your guys' little minions are the coolest minions I've ever seen. He was pretty cool, dude. So, all right, here we go. Let me get over here a little bit, move the eye around. You can see the landing zone, right? Pretty big landing zone, north to west, lining up here. Let's move it here. You could start to see the terrain feature of this hill here, right? Can you guys see that terrain feature of the hill? Okay, so let's move it around a little bit. If anyone else is better at Google Earth, I encourage you to take over. I don't know how I could do it any better. So you can kind of see the terrain feature of the hill. I want to move it around some more. Can you see how the hill is blocking everything, guys? So you can clearly see. Look at the glide slope. Almost matches the hillside slope. You see that? All right. So that's why, like, plenty of people have landed back here. You guys, there's not really an issue of landing back here. Yeah, there's some big trees. Don't hit it. Okay. But other than that, dude, it's if you fly with a certain school, it's like a rite of passage to land back here. Okay, there's your LZ1. You see what I'm saying? You start getting low on the way over there, then come on in. No, I told you. If you were going to play around, that's your last opportunity. Thank you. That means you want it in. Thank you. So you could see you could safely turn around and come land in LZ2 or LZ1. You guys see that? And now,
at the hill.
If you're still too high at the hill, I'm sorry, if you're getting too low and you're wondering if I can cross it, yes, you could turn around. So look, yes, let me show you. See how the terrain features are sloping down here? So look, the hill starts at LZ1 or 1, and it starts going up till it hits its peak here, and then it slopes down to LZ2. So it should be painfully obvious that at the point you get here and you're like, shit, I'm not going to make it over the hill, how about we just make a U-hand turn? Or find a lovely spot on the hillside, like many people have before you, and land it on the hillside just wonderfully.
Let's go on the side here, we do on one of the sides, right?
Yeah.
Because down in the grassy stuff where the trail is, down at the bottom.
See, this right here is flat land, and look, there's no trees here. I don't remember who it was, we picked up right here. I picked up another pilot right up here. We've picked another pilot up over here. You can't see, but look here. I mean, you can see the shadow. That tells us there's little trees here. Those could range from manzanita bush, that's 8 to 10 feet tall, to a tree that's 40, 50 feet. Just dodge it. You're all good landing spots. You're all going to be fine. Okay? Okay, so can you see the shape of the rim?
Steep.
It's steep. Look at the black rock.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so how much faster can we get to you? It's going up, baby. As we can see, it's black rock. It's black rock.
I don't see black rock.
Black rock.
Oh, I see it now.
Okay. All right. So, look at the rim. Look at the bowl that you're in. See that? There's our rolled up to launch. There's our launch area. There's your bowl. Do we understand now with the winds at different directions why I needed to point that out? Let's go up a little bit higher Do we see the second rim I told you not to go to? And look at this lower rim. If you go to this lower rim, okay, cool. You might have to land in this farmer's property, barbed wire fences, cattle. No, be polite, offer to pay, buy alcohol, whatever it takes.
Finest beer.
What's your favorite beer?
Exactly. You want to join me at the Indian Casino tonight? Would you like to go out with us? I don't care what it takes. You're a positive ambassador of hang gliding. Thank God I'm on the ground and safe. You'll never believe what happened up there to me. You make that individual care about your safety. Okay? That's right. Thank God. That's so nice of you to come check in on me and make sure I'm okay. I thought I was going to die.
He's loading the shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a nice guy.
That's right.
Nothing to do with your dog.
Okay? So you can see you have this lower rim. Look at the upper rim and the upper sections of this. It could go for a ways. Pilots, guys, have flown for long ways along these rims. I'm not going to say that they haven't. These are much better pilots than both me and you guys. All right?
So what's our zone?
For us, do we see the mile distance between the rim and the launch?
Yeah.
I have flown out here and still been 1,000, 2,000 feet above launch and easily able to get back to my landing zone. Okay? So this is almost 2-mile area. This whole area, you could be back here and be 1,050 feet over launch, 2,000 feet above launch. I don't know what the day is going to present to us, okay? But you always make sure that you're never trapped somewhere and you can always get home. Always. Your home base is this area. Everyone sees it? This area. Look at your bowl. It brings over, just draw a nice comfortable circle around home base, because you can always make it here. Remember, 45-degree angles.
Yep.
Now, down over here, let's get a little closer. Still nice shelf. Look at the little indents that you will have. Look at the little indent in terrain feature.
Canyons.
Little canyons that will cause the air to slip through with a Venturi effect,
Heating up.
killing your lift zone areas in pockets, your anti-lift zone, as it sucks the air out that wants to lift in that area. Be careful of these zones. Never, let's pretend you become the mountainside magnet, okay? And you're just flying directly above, or hopefully you're smarter than directly above, slightly valley side. And all of a sudden you get to this area and you start feeling sink. Your first course of action is get away and out while initiating a turn to get back into your lift area. You get way over here to this one. Things are going to also be different and dramatically different. You need to make sure, if you've crossed one zone, you need to make sure you can cross it again and again and again. Because let's back up again here. Do you see all those? Look. That's bare grass. Those are heavy trees. Do you see all the wonderful landing options that you have in front of your cliffside? Let's look behind it, where my buddies, very good pilots, the ones I love to go off with all the time. Loves going up to fly up here, where he spent a lot of time as an early pilot. They got so stinking high. I think they said they're about 4,000 feet above the rim. They said, dude, let's go to this mountain right here, Bald Mountain. Sunk out halfway there.
Oh no.
Landed in what isn't too bad of landing spot areas. But look, these are tall 150-foot trees. Do you think that it was a challenge to navigate some of these areas? Look at these landing zones. Look at that. We are right now, this right here is elevation of 3,800 feet. We're at 4,500 foot view. You're about 600 foot is what you would be at as a pilot looking at this. Look how tall these trees are. You've got to put it down, thread it through here, and put it on here. Now, They all landed safely. Some of them made it to Bald. Everyone had a wonderful day, and they spent the rest of the day hunting each other down through the wilderness around here and had an awesome time doing it. Look, huge landing zone here, huge landing zone here. You guys, we're all going to land in this LZ. And we're going to be drinking beer, high-fiving each other, and having a great time. Estelle's going to be roasting marshmallows. It's going to be epic. Okay? Let's try and meet here.
Yeah, sounds like a perfect plan.
Okay.
Long range retrievals.
So, Robert, for like average weather and wind situations, what would you say our playground area is?
Okay, so yeah, no, so again, let's go right back to that. That's very good. Let's make sure we cover this to a T.
You know, 'cause I don't want to explore. I just
Let's,
wanna get-
bless you. Okay, here we go. We're going to take out the back rim. It's no longer a factor. And everything along this dark rim behind it is not a factor. Okay? So let's just do this so we can really see. Because do you see where we launch? How this is a big bowl? You go too far past this little drive-in area right here. It's like a drive-in turn area. It'll stick out to you like a sore thumb. Clearly, it's going to, right? Because we will drive up this way. You can see the little road, right? Is it all? It's not showing very well on your guys' screen. Okay, so we'll be driving up this way. From LZ to launch is less than 20 minutes, FYI. So to help you with your scale of things, okay, remember, this is only 1 mile, okay?
And it's a nice road, too.
It's a wonderful road. Well, last time I was there, I don't know. We're going to find out. Okay, so it should be that typical forestry road. Super easy, super gentle, little bit of blah, 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 blah. But it's nothing like this. We're talking about typical forestry. Yeah, fire trucks got to make it up without problems whatsoever, okay? Okay, so let's talk about normal. Wind is blowing in from the west. Do you see our marker? North. So look at how the marker lines up. Do we see how this is almost a perfect west to east marker? North, south, there it is. Everything's showing up there? Yeah, not very well, but okay. All right, it's blowing into the west like we should hope, like it should be typical, but nothing in hang gliding is typical, so everything I'm about to tell you is a lie and very situational. Good. If that is the case, the wind's blowing in, everything along this ridge from the west, look at this, this is lined up clearly from the west, is wonderful.
Really?
All of this. Look, I'm 2 miles out. But let's talk about being ultra conservative, which you will be right off the bat.
Exactly.
Right off the bat. What did I say we always want to keep our LZ? 45 degree, 1 to 1. Right here, let's draw a complete circle around this. First off, we already know this length of line. So how about we draw another one to right here? I wonder, I'm not so good with Google Earth, so I'm not going to worry about this. But let's do it. See how it matches in on your hillside? Anybody else want something to eat or drink or anything like that while we're here at this moment? It is 3:43. We actually did this for 3 hours. Holy crap. Okay, so now we've got that. Next, this will be your playground. This will mainly be your playground, though. You see that? That's mainly going to be your playground.
Oh, okay.
Okay? This little area right in here.
Launch and go up and down the ridge.
Yeah, you're basically going back and forth, playing around, going, man, this is so awesome. How am I up for so long? This is epic.
Options to explore in a contained area.
In a contained area, still in complete safety. You're out here. See, you're out here. You're in where my hand zone is right now. Right, you're out over in here. Let me see if I could kill this off really quick. Okay, you're out over here. Now you got your visual of this should be your safety zone. This is your high safety. This is your super high safety over your LZ. Super high safety, I want to stay in lift. Now you want to start exploring how wide is your lift band. Look, you're over your LZ. So you can explore, lift zone. Everything is still great. Why not come over here? You're always referencing, where am I in altitude? Where am I in altitude? Always referencing. I will be bringing all 3 of those Varios. Okay? That means 2 people have Varios to use. Okay? If everything just seems to be such a gimme day, I'm not going to fly with a Vario whatsoever. I'll give a 3rd one out to whoever needs it. Okay? Remember, I do sell Varios.
You too.
All right. And also, do you have a, what are the apps names for the Varios that will attach to the phone? If we could shoot those out in a link and email to everybody. Some of them are 99 cents. There's a couple free ones. Some of them will tap into your phone's barometric. Some of them will give you all the flight computer stuff that you could possibly want and ask for, and then give you a, because your phone is also dependent on its GPS based off of certain cell phone signals as well. But what they do is they take your phone, and even your phone in running in airplane mode, you get an external sensor that will locate itself to own GPSs and barometric pressure.
That's right. What I use.
You have that one?
I use a Flynet.
Yeah.
Or external barometric pressure.
Yeah.
But the GPS comes through the phone.
You have that?
Yeah. That's why I
I'd
fly
love
with
to see
mechanic
that.
like
So then that is a $150 or $99 add-on.
So the device nowadays, you can get what's called a Blue Fly Vario for $50.
Okay.
It interfaces with XCSOR, which is like $4 or $5, I think.
So you guys,
You can make a Vario that's easily as capable as that for like,
if not more, and way stronger computing power, let's face it, okay? So it just relies on the external barometric and GPS units to make sure its accuracy is way better than your phone could supply.
The app uses your phone's screen.
And then that uses all the downloaded data of airspace, of calculation speed, of everything like that, of a screen space, everything, touch features that basically our phone is beyond capable of handling. It just wishes, our phone just wishes it had better sensors. So it gives you a better sensor. So that's where our world is changing right now. So I haven't sold many Varios over the last couple of years because I've been telling everybody the truth. Don't need this. A $5 app and a $100 sensor is better. It really is.
I'll show that to you the next time out.
Well, we'll see it this weekend, right?
And then you can
Yeah,
do
it's
a FaceTime
awesome.
call while you're flying.
I've literally had,
Bust out.
I fly with my iPad mini that I use for normal waterflight flying, because you have an app called ForeFlight that is a moving map display, and it also has airspaces, so it'll keep you out of restricted airspaces and let you know temporary flight restrictions and all that kind of stuff. Well, they have apps that do the same thing for hang gliding and paragliding. If you connect it to an external barometric pressure sensor, then it acts as an audio Vario as well. And then you can download the IDC, overlay the IDC on your video files, and you can actually get the data overlay.
Dude, you need to host some ground schools on how to do these things specifically. This would be huge for all of us, dude. Huge.
And then download some tracks.
Yeah.
I like this one. You let me use this one time. It was
Yeah.
very easy.
That one is so easy. In all honesty, every one of them is very, very easy. If you just turn on a Vario and you're listening to the beep and understand where to look for altitude and what that altitude means, they're very, very easy at that point in time. The information on them can become very complicated to where you don't even know what you're looking at. So that's why it's almost like the other one. I got the other one simply for the fact that it will calculate glide ratios in it. $1,600. I didn't get that. I didn't pay $1,600 for it. Another pilot who got out of hang gliding had that with him and was like, dude, basically I bought his Falcon 3 when I first got into hang gliding. Then he sold all of his other gear, and I kept seeing him, and he's like, I can't believe you teach now, and I sold you my gear. He's like, you know what? I've got this Vario. You want it? And I was like, dude, it's a $1,600 Vario. How much? He's like, I'll give it to you for $400. I was like, yeah, I'll take that thing. He flew with it for 3 times, right? It was insane. I was like, hell yeah, I'll take it. I paid $675 for the other one that you flew with. And this red one over here, that's the Connect, which is supposed to replace also these things, GPSs, while flying in the sky, because I would fly with either one of those with a GPS unit, a handheld GPS unit, which would show me roads and stuff so you could talk to people about things. We're over Mount St. Helena, or I'm following I-5 now, or this is the road I'm on, right? Good information to have. That replaces it because it's got it built into it. But now there's a new one, which I could show you guys, which is even cheaper than those other ones.
You talk about the real basic.
Basic Navi.
Yeah. I forgot who makes that one.
Well, it's Flytech selling it.
Yeah, and it's got it's really flat. It's got a lithium polymer battery.
It's a smaller version. Here it is, right here. Navitier.
Yeah,
Okay, so this thing right here, you guys, that thing right there is a screen that big. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a smartphone.
Yep, it's a little bit bigger than our large smartphone sizes. Everything is touch feature, and do you see how it's all color? And look how everything on it right now is basically a GPS. You got air altitude marked, whatever this is right here. Option 1, option. You can customize and literally take that and place it here in the middle. Take this, place it here. Anywhere you want to. Look, he's got his Vario here, up Vario, down Vario. He's on a map 2. Who knows what that means? I don't know what this stuff means. He's doing bad, maybe.
You know, my Vario app actually does thermal prediction. So if you start turning into thermal, it tells you where the core is.
Yeah, see, so certain things have gotten super awesome with this. Okay? So this one right here,
You won't even have to fly gliders.
No, you know what you have to do is planes.
Audi 4. See, you could get that basic one for $700. Look at this, Audi 4 basic. When the Connect is the one I have, is now $826. That's a red one. And that thing, it's doing almost the same thing, but it's a little bit different. You guys could turn it on, I could show it to you. My 6015, which they don't sell anymore because that is the Element, $600, Element Track. Mine was $675. Okay? And then the 6030 over there, they're not even selling the 6030 anymore. So it's been replaced by the 6040 1700, and so basically $1,799, $1,800 for the other one. Just ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. Especially when this Audi 4 can handle amazing things at this point. That's the future right there, and I can't believe it's so cheap, but that should be it. And you could upgrade from that to this because it's simple software, and you see it's a $200 difference to upgrade. So you get this one, run everything normal, then when you want the race functions, give them $200 and they give you a key and you put it in. Okay, we are officially done. We have looked at everything, including the GPS stuff. So just to recap something to make sure we are very clear, Artur, this right here is your zone of safety, immediate primary area. From there, you can expand it. You can expand it this way first. I don't know why it's starting to do that stuff now.
It's not making another path.
It's not making another path.
You're supposed to hold it while you drag it.
So this becomes your secondary area down to the first gap. So now you've got this area to play with. Okay? After that, you start to explore from here, to here. Okay? Well, to here, I should say. Okay? So you've gone down here a little bit of ways, but notice how this becomes unlandable. That's what I'm saying. Don't go here until you're positive that you've got all of this. Once you're positive you have all of this, go here. Ooh, you know my first time? My first time. I'm just at home. I'm 1,000 feet above launch. I'm so cool. I'm going to go down this way now. Notice the terrain changes. I'm so cool. I'm going to go this way now. I get from here to here, the first crack. And all of a sudden, I'm sinking.
No. GTFO.
Not a fun feeling when you're looking at your LZ and you know that you're coming up on ridge level, and I should be ridge level here to get here.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not a good feeling. I turned around immediately. I stayed not too close in on the cliff, but I decided I was going to split the difference between here and my LZ, right? Look, that's not far. Stell, stay to the side, please, honey. Thank you. So from here to here, you can clearly see you could go this way and be in comfort zone, or you could come out this way a little bit, right? So draw a straight line and say, this is the area I flew through and I had lift. Well, guess what? By the time I got right here, I was in the lift band again. And I was going and I was going up, 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 up. No problems. Now all of a sudden, I'm here again, knowing without a doubt that I could be 1,000 feet up right here. So what do you think I started doing next? No, I fucking tempted my faith again. Are you kidding me? You think I learned my lesson? I thought you knew me, man. So what did I do? I wanted to know what is my limit and where is my safety. So every time I came out now, I would go from here to here and sink, and I would make sure I could get back up. I would go from here to here. I would come back out and get back up. To here, I got 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 back up. What did I do? I defined a whole new radius that I could fly in. You see? Always getting back to my home of safety of lift. This is the basics of thermaling. You find gas stations. This is a gas station. This whole area is a gas station. Remember, this is a little bit curvy. Oh crap, now I can't move it. This area right here can be a gas station. Okay? So if we look at those things, you guys, right now you can see certain hot spots. If we think thermaling mentality from before, hot spot core, hot spot core. Areas of lighter lift. Oh, look. Death zone. Death zone.
Don't go there.
Okay? Simple enough. You should not be behind this ridge.
Yeah, got it.
The ridge is the death zone. Don't go behind it.
Okay.
Okay?
That's exactly what I wanted to know.
What else? What else? I know you guys got a jam, and it's totally fine. You're not being rude. It's totally cool. I understand. We went way over, but we've covered a lot. I mean, it's cool because you guys got all this opportunity. Okay? So, any other questions that you guys have?
Nope. I think we're good. You know,
Okay.
we're going to come up in the morning, and so
Okay.
when should we try to meet you? Because we're going to, what should be the time?
You three are coming up together. What time are you guys going to be there?
Friday night.
We'll be up Friday night.
So if you're coming up Friday night, I'm going to leave this up to you guys because you're the only other ones that we have to really make sure we take care of each other, right? Okay, so first off, thank you very much for already making the payment. $140 for this whole trip and everything, okay? Making sure we get taken care of you guys. Thank you so much for already taking care of it. So here's the deal. You're the only ones I have to worry about in the morning. What do you want to do? Do you want to do a sled ride? We will at least do this. Visit LZ1, visit LZ2, visit the launch, walk over everything, and then you can make up your final decision if you want to fly or not. But if you're thinking that you want to do a sled ride, we need to be up and moving by, again, we'll be in the LZ at 8 o'clock to start things. That way we can make sure that we're safe with everything that we do, okay? So I'll leave that to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
Oh, yeah, I'll decide when I get there pretty much, I think.
That sounds good. I'll see you Friday night then.
But for in her case, it was like, you probably do want to plan on
Yeah, I want
Saturday
to do,
morning, right?
yeah. It's like,
What time Friday are you guys going to get there?
we are leaving here around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, try to hit there
Yeah.
by
We all might be there in time for a sled ride at night.
at night.
That'd be the end of the glass off. Okay? So there's a possibility. So we'll just stay flexible. We'll stay in communication with each other. You got radio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Frequency. Why don't you blast out the frequency for the trip? And then I'll-
144150.
14415.
You got it? You guys got your radios as well?
And what's your call sign? Just so I know.
Wingman, Robert, whatever. Just call me.
Your
Oh, KM6ALA.
KM.
Kiss my 6y. Ah la 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 la.
ALA.
I did not have that assigned. That was assigned to me. Isn't that awesome?
KM6ALA.
KM6ALA.
4150.
Kicks my sexy. What? Are you kidding me? I was gonna totally get a custom one. I could ask for nothing better.
I got a really good antenna on my radio, so it should be no problem.
Yeah, dude, I was looking for those today. Can you please send me the Amazon link?
I'll send you the link.
Because I would love to have those for my radio this weekend, dude. I would love to. Okay? Who doesn't have a radio? You guys have them? Do you want to take one of those?
How much are they?
Same exact price as what Amazon will sell it to you. So it's going to be $39, the whatever it would be, basically like $43, and that's the 8-watt one. If you want there, it's.
Amazon order Amazon Prime and have it sent to your door. It'll be there like the next day.
So it's up to you. Like I'm literally going to charge you nothing but what Amazon Prime is, and that is exactly what it is. I'm not going to make any money off of you. So there it is.
Don't worry about that.
So this one, as you can see, has never ever come out of the box before.
What you
And-
need is you guys need to get your kind of radio license.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. If I don't have the license,
Well, then you just listen.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's enough people with light. I didn't get it until like last year, when all of a sudden.
you were busting our ass 2 years ago, telling us to get.
I was always telling you, and I didn't even have it. Yeah, exactly. Do as I say, not as I do, motherfucker. Cut.
Died a long time ago.
All right, good. Okay, so this does have a push to talk in it. With the push to talk, the awesome thing about it is it does work, but it puts you in an echoey state. So what you do is yeah, you use your normal little phone with your thing, but with the microphone, take an old sock. First, cover it with like a little bit of cotton, stuff it over the microphone, then cut up a sock that will be this long, wrap it around 3 or 4 times, and duct tape or electrical tape the side so it's very, very tight. So you can easily hit your push to talk button, but the wind won't penetrate through, because that's the issue if you leave this alone, is wind noise whistling. Exactly. So if you cover this, you can easily have this, because look, it's got a little clip. So now all of a sudden you have this clipped here, this is on your ear, you're all good to go, and now you just reach up and you hit the button. So this works as an entry level, and then at the very, very end, we just get the $100 head set up from our dude, and he builds you a bulletproof system based off this is the Kenwood
Here's the
setup.
good thing is that according to the FCC reg, you don't have to have a license to call for help.
Yes, exactly.
That's why you
Exactly.
want to have it.
And, dude, I also swore I read that if you're sponsoring somebody
You can-
and claiming that you'll take responsibility for
Yes,
their
you can-
actions on the radio.
You can be the station operator.
Exactly.
However, if
Exactly.
they fuck up, they'll burn your ass for it.
True. So don't cuss on the radio. I'm fucking stinking high, you sons of bitches. Not good.
Most of it is transmission power and making sure that you stay off
Yeah.
the designated frequencies for other services.
Right, so you stay on the frequency.
Do you want this?
So the hang gliders.
I'll let you know, because I think I'd rather get a Vario before, you know.
Okay.
Oh, here, take a look
But
at
the
this.
Varios are more expensive. These are cheaper.
Yep.
It's up to you.
Look at that.
It's up to you.
That
Doesn't
boy's
matter.
$100. It's Bluetooth capable, and all you need to do is run an app on your phone.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Hey, can you send that link?
That's
Yeah, I'll
awesome.
send that. I'll send that out to Robert Higgins.
I gotta use the Banyo.
Do your thing, guys. Look, we're done. So if you're hanging out, asking questions, cool. Okay, so do your magic tricks while everyone's doing their thing over here, honey.
So if we hadn't just bought two, I would have got those ones, because those were 60 when I saw them on Amazon. They
You
were
know,
60 something.
I saw them for $39 today. I typed in literally the Po Fung.
That's so crazy. The numbers. So then I saw the 23, and I'm like, oh, fucking 2 for 23 a piece. I'm just getting them. So I-
Exactly. So you got to be
Yeah, but
careful.
they're
Like
they're the 4s. They're not the 8s. You know, like they're I know they're lesser, but I was
4. That's interesting because these ones are 5.
Or 4 or
I was
5,
checking to
4 or
make
5.
sure. So you can see different incarnation over the last 7 years of them, and it's basically been, from what I understand, is different marketing for each one. But if you look, they'll show that one right there. We saw this one all the way up for $60, the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, why? And some of them have this huge battery pack. Don't get suckered into the battery pack thing with these.
It'll last forever. Huh?
This battery lasts forever on a charge. Oh, I've never seen a battery last so long, dude. It's crazy. That's why I'm endorsing them so much.
Using the phone as a Vario, the phone really
It could
drains
suck
battery
through.
really quick.
Well, so you get yourself a $7 battery pack like we did with this Vario.
Yeah.
600 milliamp. It'll charge your battery, your phone over 2 times.
Really?
Okay, we'll give everyone a minute.
$7 in price.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So I used to fly with an iPad, a Bluetooth Vario, and a battery pack.
Huh.
Next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Robert, I'll give you a call about these. Let's see if I.
Just let me know. I'll bring one if you need one.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
If not, I'll leave it at home. Well, me and my dad, because I've got like nine of these fucking things. Not this kind. I don't know how I did this, but at some point in time, I decided I was going to collect 1 million radios, and I've been testing. That's what it
It's
is.
kind of interesting. I don't know if you can do it. I think that it's going to be really useful to have you give feedback on just the first couple minutes of flight in some of these mountain situations. Because, I mean, I only heard a little bit of what you were saying, and I think it was so helpful last time. And it's just like, because you're watching us and you see us bump through some lift.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. Turn into it.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So they're pretty useful.
Yeah. I see exactly what you're saying.
It's pretty good. All right.
Yeah. But then, so the thing is if we could do something like that if we were on different radio channels. You're on 144, 150. You're on 144, 650, 144, 750. If we change it by 10, that way, because what I wouldn't want to do is you're in the middle of your flight, and now all of a sudden, like I realize this with Cy.
Yeah.
Cy's out there now flying around, and I'm all, John, these directions aren't for you anymore, they're for Cy. Then after that, I tried to tell Arturo what to do, and I was like, John's got to hate me right now because I'm seriously sitting there barking in Cy's ear, now barking Arturo's ear. 15-minute period goes by. Somehow you toned me out or didn't hear me anymore, whatever it was.
Yeah,
Well, by the time you were flying, we only heard.
I heard the last thing I heard was this is for side. It took me a while to realize it, like a 1 minute lapse before I processed. And I was like, oh fuck, he's not talking to me. Okay, cool. And then I was really out. So, anyways, that's good.
Oh, how are you gonna get me? Or you want to just email me the audio files for today?
Yeah, so I'll go straight home and do that right now.
I got all that.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
I didn't really. Yeah, that was pretty. It was good.
And then,
Because I'm really